So all the candidates have admirably focused on education as a core issue. And my question is this. I read in the paper the other day that basically we're spending about a little over $15,000 per student per year. And I've heard that the average classroom has 25 or so kids in it in the school. So that's $375,000 per classroom. And I know that all that money isn't going to teachers. And I suspect not even a large portion of it is going to teachers. So my question to you is, why aren't the schools doing better? Where's that money going? And what are each of you going to do to make our school system more responsible towards actually educating kids? And the answer clearly is not a need for more money. It's a need for better management and a better educational system.
All right, so we got our first answer there then, but we'll go to the candidates. And we'll have David start on this question.
I do believe that accountability does come into place on this one. I believe that the school department should be giving extremely line by line by line what they spend every penny on and how that each penny is spent. And they also should be figuring out a way to actually give a proposal to actually start cutting back. Not that I don't want to kill education, but this is a lot of waste in education as well as any other department. But I want teachers to be actually held accountable, just like any other position in the city. But one of the issues that we got to work with is getting the education better, and we do spend a lot of money on education. I'm sorry, I'm having brain freeze. I'm just processing something. Again, it goes back to accountability and bringing our teachers in with our principals and our teachers. Sorry, obviously I'm not the greatest thing at this. But you just bring everybody together, figure out how we're spending that money and how we can actually reinvest the money that we can find to save, and just get a better education for our students, because we do need to reinvest into a better education, because I'm more of a hands-on type of person. So I like to see us turn to that, where we're doing hands-on projects and learning through hands-on. But I'm not sure if I answered your question 100%, but I think I'm running out of time here, so I'll let it go on.
All right, Mark, same question on costs and results in the schools.
There are, of course, a variety of things that we can do that don't necessarily cost a whole lot of extra money in the school district, and some of them are being done. The emphasis in the district in the last 2.5 years that I've been there anyway, has been to move towards school autonomy, to try and put more resources and more power, in effect, in the hands of principals and teachers, in the hands of educators at the building level, who know their kids, know their community, know their own strengths and weaknesses, and can collaborate on trying to help kids learn and to help kids with their social emotional needs and language needs as well. But I actually have to take issue with part of the assumption in your question that we have adequate resources and the problem is a lack of accountability or efficiency. I actually don't agree with that. I think, virtually every post-industrial city in the United States faces exactly the same sets of issues with regard to public education that Providence does. It's not unique to Providence. It's not uniquely bad in Providence either. A lot of that is because of historical patterns of segregation, racial segregation and economic segregation. Urban school districts don't face the same costs as suburban districts do. And in many cases, they need more money per student than a suburban district might. The very first school board meeting I went to, I have 20 seconds, so I'll do this fast, we voted on the budget. And I had a sort of epiphany as we were doing so, which was that every adult in the room knew that that budget was not adequate to educate the children of the Providence Public Schools. We all knew it didn't include universal pre-K, it didn't include enough funding for English language learners, it didn't include enough funding for social emotional learning, the class sizes were too large, and I'm getting the stop signal.
You're good rule followers candidates, which I do. Yeah, you can teach the governor's candidates a few things for next year. Up next, we'll have Dan on the question of the schools.
Actually, when you read the budget, almost every penny that's allocated to the school department goes for employee, either the teachers, administrators, or janitorial service staffing. That very little money is actually used for anything else in the schools. Separate from the allocation of the $250 million from the state, from the city, and the $125 million or $130 million that they get from the state. There is a small amount of money, about 8 cents out of every dollar that you pay in taxes, that goes towards the financing of city debt and primarily paying for the leased buildings that the schools are in. The school department does not own the schools. All city property is owned by the Providence Building Board Authority, and there is absolutely zero money in the city budget to do any repairs other than emergency repairs, which they get from the state, to actually fix and maintain those buildings. So the bulk of what you pay in your taxes, and 73 cents out of every dollar that you pay goes to pay for the salaries of teachers, police, and fire, goes towards the school system. So the only way we're really going to improve the student experience is to innovate and try to take some of the other lessons that we can learn from the high-performing charter schools and from other curricula around the country, and try to upgrade what we actually have. We are paying an awful lot of money for the talent, and the classroom teachers are doing the best they can, but they're being hamstrung by 797, the major administration building down in Providence. And we really need more autonomy for the schools, and to take advantage of what's provided actually in the city contract for teachers with regard to autonomy in the schools. And I don't know why it's not happening, but maybe the process needs to be streamlined. When you read it in the in the collective bargaining agreement, it is an incredible labyrinth that that the schools need to negotiate in order to deviate from the curricula of the school system.
All right, and Nirva on the question of the schools.
Well, we spend more money on our students here in Providence is because the students have more needs. We have more students here, they're ELL learners, so English is their second language. We have more students who receive free and reduced lunch. We have more students who come from communities where they don't have access to resources. So we actually don't have enough money to support our students, and we need more because our students have higher needs than some the students in, like, let's say Barrington. And I think some of the ways to use the funding that we currently have more efficiently is to think about or create more innovative ideas. And I know that the superintendent currently has been thinking about how do we make sure we maximize the fundings that we have. So some of the things that the schools are doing is they're piloting individual learning opportunities or blended learning in the classrooms. So students can have various ways of learning because all students have various learning abilities. They also started introducing advanced academics in multiple middle schools. So I think if we can see achievement go up, then we can see that the resources that are being used are benefiting our students. But our students have higher needs, and we have to be able to support them.